What's up, you sick motherfuckers? Welcome to another Patreon exclusive Slashtober Part 2 sequel special. I'm Mike Kruger, joined with producer Todd Loya.
What's up, guys?
And tonight we will be covering the sequels to Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. Or the sequels to Slumber Party Massacre, Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. And so these I had never seen 3, but I had discovered the first Slumber Party Massacre and 2 around the same time, pretty recently, actually, only a couple years ago.
Joe Bob?
No, actually, it was
Okay.
before Joe Bob. It was just I can't remember what the fuck I was doing, but I was just chilling and saw it on Shudder, and I was like, "AD slasher, I haven't seen. Fuck it."
Right.
And I loved the first one, and then immediately after, I think maybe a day later, I watched the second one, and I actually remember, like, with my first time watches, I actually liked the second one more than the first one, which was kind of, I now hearing is a little bit of a controversial opinion.
You're not alone.
Yeah, revisiting it this time, my opinion's a little bit different, but I kind of understand where my mind was going. But yeah, I'm looking forward to covering these tonight. Todd, when did you first discover the sequels? Was it around the same time as you saw the first one, or was it later on?
It was later on, and it's funny because I remember I have a very specific memory of when I saw it. I'd seen the original one when it came out on VHS, and then whatever, a few years later, I can't remember the year, Slumber Party. So it would have been about 88.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if I didn't know it was out or I just, for some reason, and my neighbor had rented it, and I was like, there's fucking part 2. So it was totally different, but it was just so batshit. I remember liking it as a kid, and I actually still do like it. I know some people really hate it. There was a little bit of time I didn't like it. It annoyed me. Yeah. And then I just kind of I went back to this is just fucking stupid fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, let's get right into the second one then. Yeah. So Slumber Party Massacre 2, the synopsis on this one is Courtney Bates, the younger sister of Valerie, and her friends go to their condo for a weekend getaway, but Courtney can't get rid of the haunting feeling that a supernatural rockabilly driller killer is coming to murder them all. So yeah, the tone of this movie is way different. Well, I wouldn't say way different, but it's definitely a lot more campy and silly than the first film, I think. As far as characters, though, I enjoyed following our main character, Courtney. I like how, she's a returning character from the first film and how she's, suffering from the trauma of the first movie, with what happened with Valerie and, Valerie being locked up. I thought all that was pretty good. It reminded me a little bit of, Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 5. So, and I'm a hardcore Part 5 guy, so I love those vibes in this movie. I also love the rockabilly driller killer. Granted, maybe he doesn't hit every punchline he says to the fullest, but I still like him quite a bit, and he's goofy as fuck, and it just works for me. It's not gonna work for everybody though, and I understand why you would just look at him and be like, "This is fucking stupid," but like I said, for me, it works, and kind of what sells it for me is the guitar. The electric guitar with the drill attached to the end of it. I just fucking love that, and I think it's such a badass. First off, it's a badass looking guitar, and then badass weapon too. So I love that about them, and the story, like I already touched upon before, the story does totally go into the PTSD of Courtney from the first movie. I love all of that, especially with the night terrors that she has, and then she starts seeing her friends get picked off one by one by this driller killer.
Wait. So did Rob Zombie rip this off for Halloween too? I'm just gonna say that.
What are you referencing?
I'm referencing the Laurie Strode dealing with the trauma of the first film, and It's all like in the
Well, I
first
mean, you
half.
could say he ripped off Part 5 too.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
No, I was just giving it shit.
I think more Friday the 13th than Slumber Party Massacre too, but yeah, and you know, this one has a lot of like sleaziness to it too that I think a lot of people are gonna like a lot. I think like there's this one sequence where you're either gonna love it or hate it, and it's when the girls are having the pillow fight and they're they're doing the strip tease dance, and like it's so ridiculous and over the top, but it works for this movie. I'll say that wouldn't work for me all the time, but for this movie alone, it does. And unlike the first film, though, this does take a little bit for the kills to get going. And the kills aren't as good as I remember them being, to be honest with you. So now I'm watching this a second time, and recently watching the first Slumber Party Massacre. I'm more of a Slumber Party Massacre 1 guy now. My opinion has changed, but I still think this is a really good sequel, and I still think there's a lot of fun to be had. Maybe it's lacking in a few areas that the first film doesn't, but still a solid sequel and definitely respectable. But if you don't like cheesy ass slasher films, don't watch this one, because like how I guess this is the best way to put it. If you don't like Freddy's Dead, I don't think you'll like this movie.
Fair. I can't argue with that. I do like Freddy's Dead, though. So
Me too.
If you would have said Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I might be like, wait a minute. But
Yeah,
that's a whole nother show. When you can go back and listen to our retrospective, we'll all talk shit on 5. Anyway, yeah, it's one that you have to be in the right mood for it. It's definitely like the first one's a traditional slasher. This one's, a little bit more out there, but that's the things I like about it. It is just, it's a good party movie. You have a bunch of people over, smoke some weed, drink some beers. It's a good one to throw on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's there not to enjoy about it? Interesting trivia on this that our driller killer, Atlantis Lich, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He's the son of the Little Caesars Empire, the guy who does Little Caesars.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he only had a brief little acting, career like this and like maybe one other thing. But yeah, so that's funny. And then there's another little story, Jennifer Rhodes, who well, like I know Sister Gloria from Night of the Demons too.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a nun. But she plays Crystal Bernard's mother in this, who's a Courtney, who later down the line, when Crystal Bernard was on the show Wings, which was a big hit way back in the early 90s, she was a guest star on it, and she went up to her and was like, I don't know if you remember me, but I played your mom in Slumber Party Massacre too.
That's funny.
And then she like loved it. She like stopped the crew and like everyone, this is my mom from Slumber Party Massacre too. So although now it's disappeared from her resume, she's like, whatever. At least then she was still embracing.
Yeah, only the motherfucker. Like, I want. Is this dude, is Driller Killer still alive? Because if he is, he should do conventions. Because right? I would want his autograph. To be honest with you,
he doesn't. He does. Like I said, he doesn't need to. His dad owns Little Caesars, like some casinos, the Detroit Tigers. I think what's the Red Wings.
Well,
so,
I'm just gonna put a petition now. I think Scream Factory needs to do a collab with NECA again and do a figure for the Driller Killer in the sequel, because he deserves a fucking NECA figure too. Because I know they did the first one, and he's a great killer, and I'm glad that they did that figure, but show some love to Slumber Party Massacre too. Yeah, if you did it for fucking Billy and Ricky in fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night, yeah, you can do it for Slumber Party Massacre too.
And they did it for Night of the Demons also. Remember, because they came out with that set later.
Yeah, they did the 2-pack and then the
originally Angela. Angelo, yeah, they did Angela in the bundle, and then they did the 2-pack you could just buy.
Yeah.
Or they could do that for part 2. They own the Corman catalog now outright, so they could very easily just say, we're putting out a figure.
Dude, they need to put out fucking figures for Humanoids of the Deep. That's just another story for another time, but just saying, Scream Factory, get the fuck on that shit. And while we're on this, 4K fucking remaster of Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2. We'll talk about 3.
Wait,
though,
didn't we get a remaster on the new Blu-ray?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to double check.
I think it's a 2K.
I don't know. It's either a new scan or it's not. Well,
yeah, I think it's a 2K scan. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But yeah, so why don't we fucking rate this bitch then?
All right.
So like I said, I think this is a respectable sequel and not that far off from the first film. So I am a 3.5 out of 5. I really like this one a lot. It's not as good as I remember it. I think the kills are where it lacks for me the most, but still definitely check this one out if you like some cheesiness to your slasher film. What about you, Todd?
Well, I did just confirm the Steelbook that came out not long ago was a new 4K scan of the original. So it's better than the single disc. So damn it, now I got to get the Steelbook, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy. Doing Slashtober, I realized like fuck, I don't even have the first Slumber Party Massacre in my collection, so I'm gonna be pre-ordering it probably when I get the Halloween shit.
Do you have last horror movie in your collection yet?
Good point. That's not on par with Slumber Party Massacre for me though. It's close, but not on par.
I'm gonna let that go.
I love Joe. The Undertaker is way better. Let's just go that.
I can't even argue with that. But anything with Joe Spinell is better than anything without.
Fair enough. So, what do you rate this one, Todd?
Because this one's kind of. I was in a really good mood when I watched this one. It was a 4. Like.
That's when I was when I was rating movies when I discovered this, I originally gave it a 4 out of 5 as well. I don't know, it dips down a little bit for me with the kills, but definitely see why you're there.
And unfortunately, it looks like that Slumber Party Massacre Blu-ray Steelbook is already out of print.
Is it on the? I thought they had them on the Scream Factory site.
I'm going to confirm that on stores. It's already jumped up to like $52 on like
because I checked their site not that long ago. I really hope not, but if it is, then fuck, I waited too long.
I'm looking it up too.
So while you looked that up, 3.5 out of 5 from me and 4 out of 5 from Todd for Slumber Party Massacre 2. So now we will move on to Slumber Party Massacre 3. Which in this one, Jackie Cassidy and her friends are stalked by a serial killer while having a slumber party. Very short and sweet synopsis there. So the characters in this one, I think, are definitely the weakest of the franchise. They're not really as likable as the characters we got in 2 or 3, and there wasn't really anybody, I could really, get behind. The story also rehashes a lot of what we got in the first film and partially in the second film too, in multiple different scenarios. And honestly, the new stuff we get to is pretty predictable. That doesn't mean there's no fun to be had. There is like a cheesy, sleazy tone to this movie that I think a lot of people find endearing. But unlike the second one, this one, the cheesiness, I don't know, it didn't work as well for me. And it had some strong moments, but it definitely fizzled out, towards the middle half. There was one thing that did crack me up though, and I just got to bring it up. And there's a scene where this guy is talking about, hey, how do you know when to kiss a girl? And this girl, and like right before this scene, he's explaining like how he thinks of this girl like his sister. And then he goes into that and then starts making out with her like 2 seconds fucking later. So if that's how you think of your sister, you're a sick motherfucker. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, that scene was fucking funny. Unfortunately, the slasher elements in this movie, though, they're just okay. like I liked the way our killer looked in some scenes when he was wearing that, transparent mask, but he gets revealed, I think, a little too early. And then when he starts talking, and he just comes off as a whiny little bitch to me. And I don't know. I just wasn't too crazy about him or his motivation on why he was killing. And I would say probably out of the 3 driller killers we've gotten in this franchise, he's definitely the fucking lamest. The final act is also, I don't know, just fucking weak for me. There's a scene in particular that just bothers the fuck out of me where everybody literally just sits and watches their friend die. Like, doesn't even try to help their friend or anything. Just lets this dude fucking murder the shit out of her in front of it. And like, there's no struggle or anything. And then 2 seconds later, they all beat the shit out of the killer. So it made no fucking sense. And that really hurt the movie a lot for me. So overall, this one started strong, but it went fucking sideways towards the 3rd act, I think. And by the end, the whole thing left me disappointed. I am glad I finally saw this one, but at the same time, if I go back and revisit these movies, I'll probably tend to skip this one because I don't think it's on par with the first 2 films at all. But what about you, Todd?
I 100% agree with you about it not being on par. My thing is, and I still wonder this, if this would have been part 2 instead of 3, would it have felt a little better? Because I mean, it's hard to top the killer from 3. Like you said, it's like you're getting a downgrade from the Over the Top.
Yeah,
and such a distinct look to this one. Who's just kind of a generic one. Where at least the first one's got his Canadian tuxedo on. I mean, he's got a look. May not be the
the first one. He's creepy looking. He's got bloodshot eyes, and it's the weapon. And then the second one, it's he's a fucking rockabilly fucking goofball, and he's got a fucking electric guitar for a drill. And then this one, it's like, oh well, he's some dude that can't get his dick up and fucking he has the same exact drill as the first movie. Not it just too much of the same and not enough new. And I think that's why the second one succeeds where this one fails. Is the second one brings a lot new to the table, and it shows the aftermath of the first film, and then this one's just completely the same rehashing of the first movie with a different story, and we aren't connecting the movies at all.
Yeah, it's 1990. See, the slasher stuff was so like done by 90. I mean, there's some here and there, but I mean, other than like the big miss. Yeah. Especially for smaller budget stuff like this. And it's one like I remember wanting to like it a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
But it's just one that, I'm with you. It's not great. I don't hate it, but if you watch them in a trilogy, it just stands out how different how subpar it is.
Yeah.
Even watching it alone, I mean, it's not great, but it's one I don't hate. Like I watch it every, time I do revisit the series. Although one thing that made me laugh too fucking much this time is that fucking old ass vibrator that you had to plug at the wall. And she's getting in the bathroom. I was like, what the fuck? Why is Dan's grandma's fucking dildo in this?
Jesus. Well, I don't think there needs to be any more fucking said there. Fucking, why don't we rate this piece of shit? It's not as big of a piece of shit maybe as I made it out to be in comparison to my rating, but I'm a 2 out of 5. I think it's definitely watchable, and I think you should watch it, but at least one time. But I'll tend to say that about some of the worst shit possible. So heed that warning. But I'll say don't set your expectations a lot lower if you're watching these on all sequential order, because 1 and 2 are on a way different level than this film. What about you, Todd?
I'm in the middle on this one too. On this one, I'm a 2.5. Like 2.5. Yeah. It's average. It's hard. Depending on my mood, it could be a 2, but 2, I'm a 2.5. So
okay. Well,
so not the greatest, not the worst.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we have rated both of them, we'll move on to spoilers. So make sure to stay tuned for our Psycho Cop uh, Patreon exclusive slasher sequel review, even though that one we're doing the first one and not the sequel.
Yeah, I know. It's reversed. There's a reason why.
Yeah, we'll explain when we get to that point. But once again, guys, thank you for subscribing to our Patreon. We appreciate the support. Definitely goes to good use and back into the channel. So thank you. And hope you guys enjoy these videos and our Slashtober specials. I know I'm having a fucking blast. It's my favorite time of the year when we're doing this. So stay tuned for more. And yeah, so let's get into spoilers.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we'll just fucking go backwards since we were just talking about Slumber Party Massacre 3. So I thought the first kill was actually pretty decent. Which was when the driller killer was in the back seat and he was stabbing the girl with the drill through the car seat, and he's kind of like fucking her guts with the drill. That was pretty nice. Yeah, it was perverse, and it got the point across. I also dug that dude Michael getting impaled by the house sign, the for sale house real estate sign. I thought that was decent. I also liked the kill on the pizza girl in the middle of the street. That was probably my favorite kill in that movie. It just, I don't know, there's something about it. It just looked really brutal, and kind of the way it was shot and seeing it happen in the middle of a neighborhood street like that, I just thought it looked really good. But other than those kills, I mean, the movie's kind of shit. But moving on to Slumber Party Massacre 2. So there was one kill with the driller killer that I thought was really good, which was on Courtney's boyfriend when he got him through the back and it came out of his chest. I thought that scene was pretty badass. But the biggest thing I need to talk about in this fucking movie is that zit scene, because that shit was fucking disgusting. I just, her hallucinating, seeing that girl's zit literally form into a fucking giant pulsating pussy growth, and then it just starts squirting fucking green shit everywhere. I mean, that was an awesome gross out moment. And that was it's funny, I was watching the Joe Bob commentary, or not commentary, but the Last Drive-In special for this one, and he was like, that zit was fucking the best thing about the movie. I'm pretty sure they spent all their budget on it. So I kind of agree, but still, really enjoyable movie, Slumber Party Massacre 2, if you're into the cheesy shit. And for a guy that's typically not into the cheesy shit, I actually liked it a lot, but it's probably because I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street guy. And it's a total Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff. So
have we? Well, not to be spoilers. Have you seen Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 yet?
Hell yeah.
That better than the first.
That movie's the shit. I know I've seen the original Prom Night, but I don't remember it at all.
I hate to say it because Jamie Lee's in it. It's not good. Maybe we'll do a franchise show that one.
We should.
I really like the third also.
We should. Yeah, the third brings back Mary Lou, you said, right? Yeah, we should do that. That would be fun.
And I know Chris really likes 4. Maybe I'll reach out to him and have him jump on.
All right. Well, so yeah, that sounds good. Booking for a future show. Yeah. So that's really all I got for spoilers on this. So Slumber Party Massacre. I think it's definitely, if you're a slasher fan, you got to check these movies out. I think the first 2 especially, they're must-sees. They're not so much for the kills, but just the atmosphere of the movie and the tone, and it's just sleazy, fun, good time. And I mean, there's gore too, but that's not the main thing. And like, it doesn't matter if it's the first film, the second, or the third. There is at least one really good kill in each movie, so it never leaves you hanging there either. So definitely check it out. And let us. Okay, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, before you do the wrap, I was gonna tell you a quick story. I don't know if you know the deal with Slumber Party Massacre 2. It actually wraps into something. when it was originally put out on DVD, there was a commentary, and it had the cast and Juliette Cummings. She was like the redhead chick in that one. So what happened was someone didn't sign something, so she obviously didn't sign something. So they had to recall the disc and cut her out of the commentary. So there'll just be long blank spots.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's the version that's carried over to the Blu-ray.
Oh, fuck.
So the uncut one's only on that first pressing DVD, which technically got recalled, but they still got out. But it was funny because when me and Chris went and helped on the Video Dead commentary, that all Scream Factory was like, make them sign these goddamn releases. That's all they cared about. Because it wasn't too long after that either when we did
That's funny.
So they were like all about the releases. Then Chris didn't get one of the fucking ones. I don't know if I can tell that story. Well, we're on Patreon. He didn't get it till like after. We had to go to the guy's house, and it was a pain in the ass. It's like, God damn it, Chris. We had one job.
Oh, shit. That's fucking great.
All right. But now, okay, just wanted to tell that real quick.
No. So, and fucking Scream Factory. Get on that fucking Slumber Party Massacre 2 figure, motherfucker. I want that shit. And Steelbook for Slumber Party Massacre 2.
You know what? Fuck that. Let's get a 4K of Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, do it in the Steelbook.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not for you.
Yeah. But. Well, they did. They do still have the first one on. You're right, on the website. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, do I want to buy it or wait for the 4K?
Do you think they'll start doing 4Ks to the Corman stuff?
They should. They own. I know. I just ordered the 2 that the limited ones not too long ago, or the direct website ones, site exclusives. They own that stuff outright, and I know we've gone from indie or the boutique label saying it's too cost reserve cost. What's the word I'm trying to say? Cost prohibited.
Yeah.
Too cost prohibiting to do, some of these smaller movies on 4K. That's what we heard a couple years ago. To now, we're getting catalog titles like the Thing's not boutique, but we're getting Halloween sequels at 4 and 5, and we're getting like smaller stuff from what a few years ago they wouldn't have touched for 4K. Yeah. So hopefully these seem at the very least the first one I know. But the second one has a big cult following.
Yeah, I think they'd be leaving money on the table. I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, Prince of Darkness got a goddamn 4K. I mean, and that movie doesn't have a wide. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't even know that motherfucker exists.
The Carpenter people will be all over though. That's the one good thing.
Yeah, that's true. I fucking In the Mouth of Madness needs to be the next one. No cap.
Yeah,
that's that definitely that and. Yeah, Slumber Party Massacre 4K, get on it, fucking Scream Factory. But without further ado, enough of us hounding Scream Factory to fulfill all our fantasies. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being a Patreon subscriber, and stay tuned for more Slashtober videos. And Todd, say goodnight.
Good night.
Stay sick, motherfuckers.